Hi, my lovies. This is Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast. So this is episode 2 of our magic series. This is just a preface, and then the next episode we will actually get into it. For this episode, we're going to go beyond like why we are looking for magic as to how we can find magic everywhere. Right? A lot of us have to reprogram our beliefs, routines, and ways of thinking and how we see things like we've never seen them before, right? These changes, have a lot to do with things that we assume, things that we fear, and things that we authentically feel. Because most of magic, if not all of it, has to do with our emotions. Okay, the emotions that we give off during rituals, cleansings, meditation, those are the energies that carry out all of our magic, our emotions. So a lot of revenge comes from a lot of anger and hate, and a lot of blessings and abundance come from a lot of, positivity and empowerment. Like, for example, you may fear looking crazy when people are perusing your home and they find some strange things laying around, especially things that may raise questions, such as why, are there baby food jars in the freezer? Well, unbeknownst to them, the jars are full of baneful spells against an enemy. However, every time you're shopping, you might not see baby food jars for babies, but you see potential, turn into, the jar as a spell jar. It's small, it's convenient, it's easy to use, right? And we can clearly and easily fall into the stereotypical aesthetic of magic and may not see the items at the dollar store as to holding the same amount of power as an item found in a metaphysical store. The bottom line point of this episode, to ease you into it, really is to reprogram you just a little bit, okay? Because obviously, our current programming cannot allow you to see what I'm about to show you. Once you start approaching magic with a different set of eyes, only then can you start to see so much more around you than before. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the movie They Live. I believe it was released in 1988. Or 1989, about a group of guys who put on a special pair of sunglasses and they see that their world is actually being controlled by non-human beings. And it's only through these glasses that they can see the truth. And as to everyone else who doesn't have these glasses, they're obeying these commands of these non-human beings. They are falling into the traps and the cycles and the repetition and the programming that they are constantly putting people under. I wouldn't necessarily call it a spell, but I will lean more towards the programming, right? So if you see almost like primary colors, right? You put yellow and red together, of course you get orange, right? Because that's what we're programmed to know. That's what our programming has taught us. But for any reason, red and orange come together and make something else. Is it possible? Not under our programming, but definitely possible in a different, time, space, dimension, or whatever. And the point also to finding magic everywhere is that some of the most valuable things that can open our roads, calm us, cleanse us, and definitely bring peace into our life, or just have in general protection, are things that are around us every day, right? We don't need to spend, millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars on special fancy tools or crystals and all that stuff. This is really, for people who are just living day to day, every day, just needing protection and being able to connect with their spirit guides and their ancestors, and really connecting with nature, connecting with, self, connecting with all your chakras and your higher self and your, your 3-dimensional self, right? And your 4-dimensional and 5-dimensional self, and understanding where you are in this universe at this second, this point in time, and understanding that your intentions, the energies, and your beliefs can transform a simple, pair of scissors, so to speak, into one of your most valuable spiritual tools. You will get a lot of seasoned practitioners. They're even on social media, and they are 100% right when they say that, you are your vessel, right? When you are your candle, you are all of the elements that you need to project and intend anything. This is helpful information, especially when you are, without really good resources or without, fancy items. Okay. I mean, if you were to picture yourselves in the woods, right, abandoned and desolate in the woods, it's like, how do I get protection out here? How do I create abundance out here? Like, how am I going to do X, Y, and Z? Well, believe it or not, you can literally turn any stick you find into a wand of protection. If you speak over that stick and say, hey, every time I point this stick, that's the amount of distance that I have of protection or safety, and my ancestors are within this circle. And, you place a lot of power in your emotions into that stick that you're holding, and now you've developed a relationship with it. Right now you could sleep with it, or just use it when you are feeling your best, and X, Y, and Z, right? Just to give you a little bit of an example, just like how people charge their tarot cards, and their special crystals to themselves by sleeping with them, and now it then becomes a part of them. It is emotionally attached to you. It is now spiritually attached to you. But one of the biggest things that makes us the vessel, that makes us the candle, that makes us the crystal, our physical body, right, makes us our own wand, really is understanding. That is the biggest part of finding magic everywhere, is understanding, the knowing that this is not just a stick, right? This is a stick from a tree that I always go to, that has always brought me, peace and serenity. And, I know that I've treated this piece of nature very well. It's treated me very well. I feel good when I'm around it, and I'm able to use this twig that has fallen from it to protect me, because in every other time it has, right? So, the preface to this series, I just need you to get into a headspace of everything you were taught is not exactly a lie, but everything you were taught has more to it. There's more to the story. There's more to the elements. There's more to all the physical and metaphysical things that we experience. There is definitely more to a pair of scissors, right? A pair of scissors, yes, you can buy them anywhere. There's billions and billions of pairs of scissors. But, if you have an intention and say, hey, I'm going to use these scissors to, cut cords with anybody that is bad for me, right? Or cut away bad habits. And then you speak on those scissors now are charged with your intention. They are now charged with a purpose. So now, if for any reason, any other time you pick up those scissors, when you have the intention of using it to cut off bad things, most likely you will be drawn to them in every situation when you need to cut someone off. It won't necessarily always be a conscious choice. It then turns into an unconscious situation. Another thing about unconscious programming is that if you were to see the symbols of our most famous restaurants, especially here in the United States, everybody knows what the golden arch M stands for. It stands for McDonald's. We all know what all these other places stand for, like Wendy's. When we see the little girl with the red hair and the freckles, we know with our programming that's Wendy's. That's a place where I can eat, right? And that goes for churches and synagogues and mosques. We know the religious symbols and what they mean, to the world. But when you find magic in every physical little thing, it then becomes a programming as to what it means to you. Seeing signs and synchronicities such as numbers, animals possibly, or even how the weather changes is always going to be a sign to you, what it means to you, as to know if that is a good thing for you or if it's a bad thing for you. A lot of people don't listen to certain music or certain songs because they said every time I hear that song, something is bad is going to happen. It's always going to be something every time I hear that song. Okay? Knowing and understanding really the spiritual cues of knowing when things in your life are about to change. Really putting the patterns together. You're going to notice patterns in your life, right? Some people say stuff like, Every time my car breaks down, I always get a new job that pays more and is better, is this and that. Okay, and that's usually the universal signal for you. Okay, and that doesn't come overnight. It comes with understanding. So this preface to this series, first, just understand, yes, everything is made with a purpose, right? Physical objects, and certain things are set in place, and some things are not always looked good on, right? Like I have here in my series about tattoos. We're going to talk about the magic of tattoos. They're not always looked upon as great in society. Not everybody cares for tattoos. They get a negative reaction, some people. But if you can find the magic in tattoos and you place upon your own body, because you know and understand that you are the vessel, that you are the candle, you are the crystal, you are the wand, right? You are the chalice of your own magic, that a tattoo to you then unlocks like that extra vision. It's more like, no, I see the magic in this for me to inscribe X, Y, and Z on my body, right? It gives me more power and empowerment and freedom, and gives me a more sense of purpose, and it makes me feel powerful. Okay, and again, that is tied to your emotions, and that's why I do say emotion does play an immense role in your spiritual practices. So my lovies, I hope you understood this explanation. I hope you enjoyed it. So I can't wait to start this magic series with you. So please join me in the next episode here on Universal Spirit Podcast with Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC. I will see you soon. Thanks, guys.